All right, it is 6 p.m. I'd like to call to order this regular city council meeting for Monday, June 8, 2026 at 6 p.m. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Barb, can you call the roll, please?
Ludwig.
Present.
Page.
Here.
Van Allsburg.
Here.
Rhines.
Here.
Gilroy.
Here.
Hanson.
Yes.
All right, moving along, I'm looking for approval for this evening's agenda unless there are changes that need to be submitted.
No crap.
All right, thank you both. Do I have support? All right, thank you so much. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have an opportunity for audience participation with a maximum of 5 minutes per presentation. Would anybody like to come forward at this time? We've got a couple, so ladies first. You can come forward, state your name, and we appreciate you being here.
My name is Jenny Meyer. I'm the Executive Director for Capillary District Libraries. With me today we have our head librarian for the Williamston branch, Julie Krasinski, one of our board members, Deb Bloomquist in the back, and our Assistant Director, Julie Hamlin. We're here to give you a brief presentation on our annual report from 2025. We're handing out the section for the Williamston branch right now. Overall in cattle, we had a very busy year. We saw an increase in people coming in through the door, going to programs, using our computers. Our ebooks especially were a big uptick in people downloading books for there. So overall, a really busy year again as we go through. For Williamston, for your residents, you have over 3,000 residents who have cards for the Williamston branch. They checked out over 50,000 items. The value of that items was over $1.16 million. Your millage revenue that you send in is $234,000, which means your residents received over $927,000 in value over your millage last year. So good for you. It's great. I'm glad it is well used as you go through. A couple other things that we had going on. We have opened a 14th location for cattle. We currently have 13 branches and 2 bookmobiles, and we've opened a local history center, which is our archives of our Mid-Michigan local history set. So we did that in Allen Township. So we have a brand new location for people to come to learn about local history at. We just started open hours in June, so we're very excited about that. And finally, we are on the August 4th primary ballot for a renewal for our library millage. It's not an increase, it's just a renewal of what we have right now. It's for another 4 years, and over 90% of our revenue comes from the millage. So we do have informational sheets about that. I was wondering if we could leave some at the township or the city office.
Yeah, you can hand them off to Barb when you...
Perfect. So it's just general information about the library and about what we've done the last year or so. I'm going to turn it over to Julie so she can...
I have my watch going. So.
Thanks, Julie.
But just a few brief words. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be back to share some library highlights. Last year we really prioritized collaborations and partnerships with the schools, ISD, and community groups like the Senior Center, Farmers Market, Friends of the Williamston Parks, and many more. You can read the details of our programs and activities in the printed report, but I just wanted to share some of the real payoffs of these activities outside of the numbers. The more we engage with the public, the more we increase awareness of library, where we were, what our services were, and we experienced positive support and library love out there, and we brought added value to people's lives. There are still a great many people who don't realize that the library is more than just books. They can get free personal assistance for any number of things, including access to our library of things, which is a great value in itself. So it's a great time anytime I get to have conversations with people and open their eyes about the facts of the library. We're happy to help people solve problems, make connections, save money, and just have a better day. So that's all I have for now. Thanks for your support. Does anyone have any questions?
I love it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm curious if is the location working well for you?
It is a huge improvement over where we used to be. Would I like more space? Could we use more space? Absolutely, but we're very happy with it.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, of course.
And which election is the village?
August.
August 5th.
So the primary, not the November election?
Correct.
Correct, yes.
Yes.
Low turnout primary, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we also have, you've probably seen the I Love My Library signs around town. If anybody would like one, you can come see us at the library. And I will also be at the concert in the park on Thursday with them.
Great.
So stop by and see me.
Thank you both. Thanks for being here this evening.
Of course, thank you.
Alrighty, anyone else for audience participation? Come on up.
Evening Council, Jack Smith, 202 East Riverside Street. I come at times to give reports on the city nursery, and sometime in the fall I was giving an update on what we did over the summer, and Mayor Gilroy asked a question about what's the expected survival rate of the little trees we put in. So since it's June and we're in growing season, seemed like a good time to come back and give an update. So
Thank you.
we have presently 71 trees in the city nursery. 20 some, I'm sorry I don't have an exact number because the numbers keep changing, are ready to plant. That means they're over my head. 6 to 7 to 8 feet tall are the target that we want to plant in the street medians. We did have some limited dieback in relation to the question that the mayor posed, but we had no deaths. So some of the folks that work with me point to one and say, oh, that one's dead. I said, no, look a little closer down there at the bottom. So all of the fall trees that I came to report on, all of them survived the winter. The vast majority are growing very well. So everything's good there. I go there regularly, have a group of people who can help me with watering when times get dry, as they have been recently. Two things that are upcoming, want to work on getting an inexpensive but nice looking sign installed so that people that walk down the road, there's quite a bit of foot traffic from the neighborhoods that back up to the nursery, that would inform them about that it is a city nursery, because nobody understands what it is. There's nothing there to indicate. And the other thing is, of course, the big purpose is that this is the summer when we will be going public to the residents, that free trees are available for their city median slots, and consultation will be given about species and appropriate to the location and all those kinds of details. But this is the moment we've been planning for, so been pretty busy in the last few weeks with other tree work, but pretty anxious to get started on the publication to the residents that this opportunity will be available.
Excellent. Jack, do you have any plans to add to the inventory this year?
We've kind of maxed out the area that we're sitting in.
Okay.
That's close to the water supply. We did acquire a second water supply, and Department of Public Works has been great.
Okay.
Mallory and Ray have been great about keeping us filled. We can expand. It means we have to move a little farther away from the water supply, but I think the best answer to the question is how much to expand will depend on what the demand looks like this summer when we go public.
Okay. And for every tree that gets planted, you can put a new
That's
one
right.
in
We
that
have a
space.
hole prepared.
So,
It's much easier to
Yeah.
put a replacement back in the spot.
Terry?
So do you think you're gonna plant 20 trees this summer?
Well, you know, everybody in the little group that I work with, named the Williamston Tree Council, part of Friends of Williamston Parks, thinks that the demand is going to be overwhelming.
Okay.
I'm more cautious than they are. I've got an open mind. Obviously, getting the word out and letting people know is a big deal, and that's a task. I have no idea what the demand is going to be.
So you don't just look at a map and say, this tree goes in this place, you go up there and dig a hole and do it? You
No,
need participation of the residents?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone in the room will appreciate that once they learn that they don't own the strip between the sidewalk and the curb, they don't own the city median, they're a little bit surprised. I was when I learned that. But I don't think anyone in the room wants to be telling residents they get a tree in front of their house that they don't really want.
Right.
So negotiation between the tree planters, including the city, and residents, particularly around what to plant wires overhead, et cetera.
So, John, I saw both hands. So, John,
We're
Is-
we're in public comment.
Yeah,
so
I know,
we're kinda
I know.
at the end of the
Yep,
formal
so
rules.
I would like to add this as a discussion item,
Yep,
for a
absolutely.
future council, and Jack, I'd like you to come back for that, because I think we're gonna have a lot of questions that we're not gonna be able to answer right now.
Sure.
So I appreciate you being here this evening, so council members, hold on to those questions if you don't mind, because we need to get back on track with this agenda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Any other public audience participation? Thank you, come on forward, state your name and your address, please.
Jordan Davis, 655 Macaulay Street. It's awesome hearing about all the great stuff going on in Williamston. I come seeking maybe, not sure where to start, but maybe advice from the council on city ordinances and how city ordinances are enforced properly. I'm currently concerned about the environment going on in my neighborhood due to people living in the neighborhood, making extreme amounts of noise all the time, having late night parties, riding dirt bikes and ORVs through their yard within city limits all the time. As you can see, I have a 5-month-old daughter, and I hate to be this person because I used to love to have fun too, right? But it's just getting to a point where the enjoyment of my own home in my own yard is being monopolized by other people. I searched the local ordinances, and it seems like anything on noise is very vague. There's dog barking issues, which I've had to deal with in the past, which have been rectified, so thank you for the local officers for taking, my complaints on those seriously. But, I just want clarification, because the only other thing that I see is possibly disturbing the peace. What are the council's feelings on riding ORVs and dirt bikes in your yard constantly? What are the council's feelings on having late night parties, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, frequently on weekends, where it's audible? I can't open my windows. I can hear them through my windows. I have videotape of them from my bedroom. I'm being woken up out of my bed. My daughter's being woken up. And, I know that what disturbs me may not disturb the next person, and I'm not trying to target someone. I'm trying to come for advice from the council on what you all think is fair. If you all are willing to look at different ordinances that could be updated with more specific language so that there can be more targeted enforcement. I mean, obviously, we live in Williamston. This isn't East Lansing. This isn't, not that East Lansing deserves to have a party community, but it's just we live in a pocket bedroom community. People are trying to raise families. People are trying to enjoy their lives here. And I'm to the point where, I'm being goaded for asking people to calm down, right? Being targeted from the neighbors when I say, hey, can you not ride your dirt bike? The next thing that they're doing is they're on a golf cart hitting wheelies in their yard for hours at a time, right? And so again, I have neighbors here to support me, right? And this isn't just the thing that made me think, because a lot of times I got to sit back and think, are you just being a Grinch, right? Or are you being personal with this? But I had a neighbor come to me unsolicited yesterday and say, that is out of control. So I said, okay, it's time to finally do something, take advice, take whatever I can get from the council as far as, instruction or guidance, what is to be done. Obviously, I don't want to be the person that's calling the police on someone, but when we're dealing with literally, we live in the city limits. Can you ride a dirt bike in your yard constantly? Can you ride ORVs all day long in your yard and that's not considered disturbing the peace? Can you have a party at 1 o'clock in the morning that's audible through your neighbor's windows? I'm not sure. I know when I was growing up in Williamston, as a third-generation Williamston person, you couldn't do that stuff. The cops were coming. Where is the enforcement? I never see the police just randomly drive by, right? Not to, call anyone out, but thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, Jordan. So I'm gonna ask that you, I don't know how late you can stick around, however, if you can give your phone number to Barb, we're gonna have, I will just say right now, have city manager and she follow up with you because we can't go into that full discussion,
Yeah.
right? Because it's public comment, but we're gonna connect you with the right people so that we can help you get this resolved, not only for yourself, but for your neighbors.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Anyone else for audience participation at this time? come on forward. Either one.
Okay, thank you, sir. My name is Eric Hanser. I live at 310 Bismarck. This will be short. I'm Jordan's neighbor, and I'm here to say that everything that he's talking about is happening.
All right.
All right, so
All right.
I'd like to stay after and talk to you too.
Okay, all right, great. Well, thanks for being here this evening.
Thank you very
And
much.
and then it looked like we have Mitch. Come on up, Mitch.
Okay, hello, I'm Mitch Ludsky. I live outside the city limits. I live at 1901 Maple Shade Drive. I'm here just for a couple of reasons. First of all, some of you are receiving the Williamston Community Newsletter that we started 12 weeks ago. Some people are getting it and it's in your junk email, and some of you have not signed up for it. But it's a way that the museum wanted to publicize and cover events in the community. My first 30 years of my life was dedicated to being on the radio and getting a degree at MSU for telecom. So I was on radio in high school, was a news director, went to Michigan State. Then afterward, I worked in 2 radio stations in Illinois as a news director. I had my own talk show, call in, interviewed people. Then I went to teaching and coaching for 30 years. And now that I've retired from that, I've been the president of the museum for 6 years. But we decided as a board to try to cover the events of the community because we felt we had so many basically wonderful businesses, people, volunteers, groups, or organizations that were spending lots of time and money putting on events, and people were not showing up to the level we thought. And we saw this at the museum with various ribbon cuttings or display openings. And then we would bump into people, I'm sure as we all did at D&W or church or a ball game. They're like, well, I would have gone if I would have known about it. Oh, that's a great idea. I didn't know that club was in town. So as I'm sitting home, I decided, well, I'm going to ask the board, the museum board, if they want to step up the communications from the museum. So we started the community newsletter. Our subscription has gone up over 500% in 12 weeks. So we're really pleased with that. But I'm now going to be, as I talked with Barb the other day, I said, okay, Barb, I'm talking to you as the museum president. So then we did that. Then I said, okay, now I'm talking to you about the Williamstown Historical Committee member. So now we're doing that. And then I was as my reporter hat. So today I'm on my reporter hat. And it's going to be hopefully, we're going to try to cover some meetings. We have some people that have reached out to us that maybe want to help us. They said want to work for the newsletter. I'm like, we're all volunteers, so I'm not really sure what work is. But Linda Siciliano helps do some photos, and Logan O'Neill, who's a relative new resident to the community, she helps with layouts and photos as well. So we're trying to do this. You can visit our website to sign up. It's free of charge, and we're not really doing religion or politics. We're kind of covering events. But I guess you could argue city council's politics, but we're just going to see how this goes. So anyway, I'm here, so afterward I'll be circling around, maybe asking people for follow-up questions or, you know, get some clarification. We email at 11 o'clock every Friday morning.
Well, Mitch, you can quote me. We're very happy politicians.
Okay, that, well,
All right.
you know, I'm hoping that, and I was a reporter for 8 years, and I was always not the person they wanted to talk to, so I understand that dynamic as well.
Absolutely.
But, you know, we're going to just try to be a truthful, trusted source for people and say, oh yeah, this is where you can go to get the Jubilee schedule, or this is this, as opposed to us all rage, doom scrolling on Facebook over a post that may or may not be fictitious. But,
Absolutely.
so that's, I just want to introduce myself. So I'm taking notes. The story will be in this Friday at 11.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yep.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Anyone else for public comment at this time? Audience participation. All right, moving down our agenda, we've got a presentation from the Williamston Community Schools, and we've got Superintendent Adams being here. Thanks so much for being here, Adams.
Yes. Good evening, and thank you for affording me the opportunity to give an update on the school year that just officially concluded over the weekend. We had a fantastic year of school, but I think the part I'd like to start off with highlighting is the main effort, or kind of culminating celebration, and really the reason that we're here. We were able to graduate 167 seniors on Sunday, yesterday. Really nice ceremony, which were representative of just an outstanding senior class that we had this year in so many ways. And I won't go into all their highlights, but just a couple things that I think kind of represent that. We had 8 students earn straight A's. That's all 4 years of high school, which is a very high number because that's a very impressive accomplishment. 47 of the 167 who graduated summa cum laude, that's a 3.9 or higher, and 77 of those 167 that graduated cum laude or better, that's a 3.5 or higher. So very impressive group, and obviously a lot of individual and collective accomplishments over their time here. Some highlights from this past year. Williamston High School, Williamston Middle School, and Explorer Elementary were all named to their respective U.S. News and World Report Best Schools list. Discovery Elementary was designated as a green school by the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy for their focus on environmental stewardship and instruction. And Little Hornets Preschool earned the Demonstrating Quality rating by the Great Starts Quality Rating System, which is the highest rating that a preschool can earn. And those awards, as I tell our staff, are fantastic, and we certainly want to celebrate them. What makes our district great are all the little victories that will never get reported in the newspaper. It's all the amazing things that all of our staff do for kids every day, in conjunction with the support we receive from their parents, that really lead to these big successes. And so it's always hard to quantify or share what those little things look like. But we have an amazing team, and it's all those little things they do every day, all those extras that you would think happen everywhere, but don't, that really lead to these successes. Finance is always an important piece. We'd like to highlight each year. This year we received another unqualified opinion, which always sounds like a strange term, but in other words, it's a clean audit. That we don't take those for granted. We've never had anything but those, but we want to make sure that we keep those, keep that streak going, and we continue to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars. Our fund balance, which is kind of that your savings account, so to speak, for the district. This year we're closing that out at approximately $7 million. That's roughly 25% of our expenditures. To put that in perspective, about 11 years ago our fund balance was $28,000. So that creates fiscal stability for the district. It also prevents us from having to borrow money from the state every year and pay the interest on that, which is money that kids don't see because it just goes to paying interest. So a lot of positives around having that level of fiscal stability for the district. Construction, as I'm sure you know, basically the whole district's under construction this summer. The bond items are kind of the big ticket items, but there's also a lot of smaller projects that are non-bond funded that are going on in all of the buildings. Today we had the crane lift for the community pool for the HVAC system. It picked up a condenser that's roughly the size of this room and hoisted that over the school, and that all went well, because that's always one where you're kind of crossing your fingers. But very successful. We're hoping that project is completed by the middle of July. The high school parking lot paving project also started today. We're also adding some sidewalks in at the high school, so some of those crosswalks that are there don't lead to nowhere anymore. And so that project should also be finished by the middle of July. We're also doing extensive flooring and cabinetry upgrades in our middle and high school. And by the end of the summer, we're also anticipating to have a new phone system, which will be great, using phones finally that were built this century. So that'll be a nice upgrade. And obviously the flagship project is the construction of the new elementary school. Really grateful to having representatives from the city at the groundbreaking of that event a couple weeks ago, or about a month ago now. And that is still on schedule to be completed in the fall of 2027. A few extra projects that were going on that at least I'm excited about. One is we are completing this very long-term vision of having all our classrooms be completely modular. And again, I don't want to nerd out too much on this, but what it essentially means is that the old school modality of having the central or singular point of instruction where the teacher stands in the front of the room by a board, chalkboard, whiteboard, smartboard, some kind of board, and they're stuck there, that's going away. So in our middle and high school classrooms, we have modular furniture that allows the teacher to reconfigure their room almost instantaneously. We're putting Microsoft Surface Pro devices and screen beams in all the classrooms this year so they can interact with students from any point in the room. The students can interact with each other and with the projector from anywhere in the room. And so these are completely modular interactive classrooms that really leave it up to the devices and instructional practice of the teacher rather than the constraints of having old furniture or very limited access to technology. And we think it's really going to help to continue to promote student engagement, which watching kids respond to the instruction they're receiving is the most important thing that happens in the classroom. It's how you know they're learning and how they're engaged with the content, how you know the teacher's being effective, and that's what leads to all these awards in part over time. Another project we've recently accomplished is redoing all of our scoring systems throughout the district, so new scoreboards, even with the swim and dive team, we have a brand new, as of 2 years ago, new scoring system for them. And that's important for a number of reasons. One is aesthetics, two, it's functional. But three, if you're visiting from another community and you're trying to get a good first impression of Williamston schools, what's the thing you'll be looking at the entire time you're at one of those sporting events? So that was a nice piece. The last was kind of the biggest one, which was the video board that we put out at the football and track complex. But going out there to watch regionals, which we hosted this past spring, it completely changes the experience as a fan. You can see, because the screen's showing you all the information. So you know who's running in what lane, what school they're from. You get to see their times in real time, and it just makes a completely interactive experience. We have cameras for that scoreboard that we're going to give to our video production class at the high school, and we're going to let the kids really run with that software next fall, and so it'll be really exciting to see what they can do with that as we grow into it with football season. And I know they already got ideas for like hype videos and player intros and all that stuff, so we'll see what the kids can do with that next year. And another smaller thing, but I think it's kind of a cool thing, we have a long history of winning all kinds of athletic championships. In fact, we just added a regional baseball trophy championship over the weekend, but we're running out of space. There's literally no room to display all of those trophies, and at a certain time they end up getting put in storage, which is a shame, but space is a factor. This summer we're going to install a kiosk in the athletic wing of the high school that we're going to program to have it's going to have a touch screen, and visitors will be able to pull up all our different athletic records and championships going back as far as we have records. So it's going to be a nice way to be able to display all those things, have folks, if they want to go and pull up, you know, how was the 1948 boys basketball team, well, they can go in and look that up. So I think it's going to be a really nice addition. It's going to show our history, but also make sure that those championships and trophies that were earned a long time ago don't get forgotten or stored in a closet somewhere where nobody can see it. We do have some changes coming up next year, just to make you aware of. It's pretty significant in terms of leadership for the district. We've had a number of changes administratively. Dr. Steve Delp has led the high school for the past 8 years. He's retiring. And Mr. Chris Armour, who's been the assistant principal there for the last 6 years, he's going to be the new principal. Deborah LaFleur, who's been a member of the district for 31 years and served in a variety of roles, kind of an icon in the school system. She is also going to take advantage of a well-earned retirement. And Adam Supanowski, who's been the assistant principal at the middle school for the past 4 years, he's going to take over that position. We're also going to have 3 new assistant principals throughout the district, which will be a big change. And then we have a new position called the Director of Student Services, and Michelle Rosa, who's been an educator in the area for a long time, including many years of service in Williamston, will be assuming that role. And Pam Van Sickler, who I know many of you know, she's been just outstanding for us as our transportation supervisor for the past 22 years. She is also retiring, and Mr. Rob Keith will be taking over that position. So a lot of changes in leadership, a lot of great people retiring, but also a lot of great people sliding into new roles and responsibilities. And so we're looking forward to that, even though it's bittersweet to lose some of our veteran leaders. Just kind of wrapping up, big picture issues I'm not going to talk about in detail today. Housing obviously remains a concern, but I do want to express we're really grateful for the city continuing to approve those projects. I know some of them are being built, some aren't. That's not on you. But we really appreciate you looking at those data that we've shared and actioning those to the extent you're able to. School of choice demand this year is extremely high. And so I continue to stand by that housing is inevitably going to be an issue that's going to get us if we don't address it, not just the city, but the surrounding municipalities as well. It's not going to be this year. School of choice demand is extremely high throughout the district. We continue to be the school district of choice in this area. That's extremely important to at least our immediate financial and viability, as well as the ability to offer the programs and the quality of education that families in our community expect. I would anticipate that in almost all grade levels, at least at this point, we're probably going to have to run a lottery to accept students into those grades just due to demand. So I think that's a positive in that it shows that the district continues to be a leader in a place that families in the surrounding area want to send their children. It's also an indicator, though, that year to year we're still gambling on that high school choice demand, and if that ever were to stop, that could be a significant issue for us. So that was really it. I passed out a copy of the newsletter I mailed out to the community a couple weeks ago over the Memorial Day holiday, and a little Be Nice band that's representative of the Be Nice programs we have in the district, focusing on student mental health and suicide prevention. Happy to address any questions you might have.
Questions? Scott?
Yeah, I'm really curious of how you're handling the AI situation with students trying to, figure out if students are interacting with it or not.
Yeah, I actually got selected by one of our local news agencies a couple weeks ago to do a feature on AI. And my wife has just found this hilarious because they're like, they picked you to talk about technology. But it is on the forefront of something we're looking at. We spent the last couple of years doing training, bringing folks in or sending some of our educators out to conferences on AI. This past year, the Board of Education passed policy on AI that provides kind of left and right limits and guidelines for our educators to utilize, as well as for our students, so they know what the expectations are for those. Next year, we're going to be experimenting at our high school. We're actually going to allow high school students to use AI on our network and on their district-provided devices. The security program that we use at the school district, and this is kind of cool how AI is working, just since November has developed the ability to monitor student interactions with AI. So the same way we can monitor their email, their web searches, now they can do the same thing on AI. And before November of this past year, they couldn't do that. So it kind of shows you how quickly the technology is evolving. We know that students have been using AI on their personal devices, on their phones. So this isn't necessarily a big change in terms of their access. But I think it is going to be a big change in terms of teachers being thoughtful and intentional around when they're building a unit or a block of instruction around AI, making sure they're clear what those expectations with their students up front about can't use AI, you can use it in this way, or free reign, use it however you'd like. There's also a lot of instructional responsibility that I think we have as a school to teach students the ethical way of utilizing AI, because it's not going away. And I do think we have a role in teaching what that looks like, what the ethical and responsible uses of AI are. So this is going to be a kind of a sea change over the next, well, it's probably going to go on forever, but we can't hide from it, and we're trying to be very intentional about getting out in front of it to the extent we can.
Great question. Dan?
I want to hit on something that Dr. Spina actually didn't bring up, but I'm familiar with from a couple seniors this year that I thought was amazing, and that's actually workforce learning. And that's where not just going to the Wilson Talent Center where you can learn a trade or some advanced skills, things like that, to go immediately into the workforce, but this is actually where you are working for a company. In this case, it was a plumbing company, learning how to do plumbing for half the day, and then you go back to school, and then you do your academics either in the morning or the afternoon. And I thought that was absolutely amazing. And it's not just at the Wilson Talent Center, but it's throughout different businesses and things in town where you can set this up. I had not heard of, maybe other schools are doing it, I don't know, but I thought that was amazing that we were doing it here.
High school has really changed a lot, at least since I was there, and I would guess probably most of us, where you just went to the school for 6 hours a day, and then that was kind of it. And now it is, the options that are available to kids have really grown in significant ways. And the Board of Education has created a goal where they want us to prioritize creating these customized, individualized experiences for our students, depending on what their career pathways look like. So it is a very diverse set of options for kids at the high school level, and we want to make sure we're supporting their individual goals as they move through that educational journey.
So Adam, you said 167 seniors graduating. That's fabulous, especially for our community, and also that those seniors, that school of choice makes up part of that 167. What do you project your growth to be at for next year, 3 years, 5 years? I mean, you guys, we know the housing is an issue, but when you look at growth for Williamston and you're doing this fabulous work at the elementary school, is there capacity for growth at the middle school, and is there capacity for growth at the high school as far as building, and what does that look like?
So our plans are essentially based on the idea that we're going to stay at the same size that we're at. And I think I've talked about this in the past. Our size is our strength. We don't want to become a Class A high school where there's, you know, a couple thousand kids or even 1,500 kids in the hallway, and we don't know you anymore, we don't know your parents anymore, you're a student number kind of situation. So we want to stay like the way we've been, and I think that's a big part of our success. The issue we've had, and again, I don't want to go into the granular detail, but our residential enrollment has dropped significantly over the last 2 decades, and we're supplementing that with school of choice. So we look more or less at the same level of enrollment we've had, but we also have to remember that 27–28% of those students don't live here, they don't pay taxes here, they don't shop here, et cetera, et cetera. So that is a big piece of it. But I would say, at least in the short term, as far as I have the ability to plan out, we're looking to basically stay about the same size. And we're just supplementing the seats that we have open every year by projecting that number of openings through the school of choice process.
Terry?
Housing has been an issue. We've discussed this a couple of times, a few meetings. In your opinion, the Riverwalk development that's happening near the school there, is that the sort of thing you were looking for as far as relatively easy access, not high-end, sort of middle range housing? Is that kind of what you were looking for?
Well, I think basically our analysis is that we need everything. That we need every type of housing option for our students and, quite frankly, our staff. I think that development, again, this is just my opinion, I mean, that's not going to make a huge change in what our enrollment looks like, or offsetting the school of choice versus residential enrollment. But I think there's a lot of opportunities there for young professionals to be able to move into the community that they're otherwise priced out of. It might help us attract staff, that there's a place near the schools that's a nice place to live, and obviously a phenomenal community that's within walking distance of the buildings they might work in. So I think there's a lot of upside to that. I mean, the gold standard is still single family homes, but that takes a lot of space, and I know the city doesn't have a ton of space. And it's not a city-only issue, it's all the municipalities that constitute the school district. And so we're trying to do what we can just to get the word out about that and see if there's any opportunities to continue to add housing inventory in a controlled and thoughtful way, so that we retain the characteristics of the community that we know, but also ensure that there's a sustainable long-term residential enrollment base for the school district, which obviously leads to benefits for the entire community.
Question on that.
Yeah.
So let's say in the next 5 years, the area adds 200 housing units, and those are taken up mostly by 50–75% by families with young children. How do you, so from prior discussions, you've got 25–27% around that school of choice. So then you've got an influx of resident students without growing like we were just talking about. We want to stay roughly the same size. How do you deal with that?
I mean, the short answer is knowing kind of the schedule for how those developments will be built, we start to reduce the number of school of choice availability in the district. So the idea is you just exchange what's been happening where residential is going down, school of choice is going up, and you just move it in the other direction. There's more predictive analysis that would be involved in it, obviously, but I mean, that's the short answer in terms of how we would approach that. And I do want to just drive that point home, because I've heard it in the community be a little bit misconstrued. We're not looking to grow. We don't want to be Okemos or DeWitt. We want to be Williamston. That's who we are. That's why we're successful. But we do want to kind of balance out that growing divide between the kids that are able to live in the district and those that are not.
John, any question?
Yeah, this is one of those, my wife says, you're on city council, you should ask. Are you comfortable with the gradation with the construction going on at the elementary? In other words, we have several immediate neighbors, myself, we're kind of concerned with drainage. Are you comfortable with the infrastructure, et cetera, et cetera?
So, obviously this is way out of my lane of expertise, so I'm relying on the professionals that we brought in to manage that. As you know, with any type of development, you have to go through an extensive permitting process, and I can tell you that Ingham County has spent a lot of time reviewing our plans, extensively so. We've had to resubmit things several times to get approvals. So my analysis will be based on what you know, the experts have been telling me, between the companies that we have working for us, the engineers and architects, as well as what the various Ingham County agencies have allowed for, that the drainage should be sufficient and not contribute any more runoff than was already in place before the project started.
All right, anyone else this time? Adam, thank you so much for being here, as always, and we look forward to when you come and give us an update and how everything's going.
Awesome. Thank you for your ongoing support.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right, moving down our agenda, we've got our council meeting minutes of May 26, 2026. I'm looking for approval unless those need to be amended and changed.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, do I have support? Support. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now we have accounts payable. Terry, you had an opportunity to review our accounts payable. Can you tell us where the money went?
What happened to all that money? Okay, actually nothing extraordinary in this one today, but it's kind of a thick list here. And I just wanted to do a hats off to Ann Casper as the assistant treasurer and all the work that she puts into this thing. I don't know if you guys do this, but when I get my Amazon bill at the end of the month, I check off what I've got in my budget, what they've got in their bill, and I try to make them work out, and they don't ever work out. So then I have to go to Amazon and I say, what did I do on that date with that thing, and try to make all that work out. Well, Ann does that with this, you know? This is pages and pages and pages of receipts that she puts together and makes it all work out really well. So kudos to Ann, she does an excellent job, and you're gonna go away, so we'll figure that out, okay.
All right.
So I don't have anything extraordinary, we don't have any other government things taking money from us, so the number is kind of reasonable again.
All right.
So, shall I make a
Yes,
motion?
absolutely, please, thank you.
Make a motion to accept checks 79071 through 79090 and ACH 2288 through 2311 for a grand total of $99,329.84.
Thank you so much, Sherry, I appreciate that. Do I have support for the motion? Thank you. Barb, will you call the roll, please?
Van Allsburg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
All right. We're gonna go into our action items now. It looks like a long list, but I don't think it'll take us that long to get through this. So our first is the adoption of the 2026-2027 fiscal year budget. I'm gonna turn that over to our city manager, John Hannafin.
Thank you. This is the conclusion to our annual budget preparation. The first item, A, actually includes two parts. That's the resolution to adopt the budget for 26-27 fiscal year and to provide the levy for the amount necessary to be raised, which is the levying of millage. In the details, you can see from the work session we had in May, the actual millage rate has gone down, you have the final penalty number in there. So our budget process starts in February with our visioning session. It continues on in April with presentation of the first draft budget to the council at the first meeting. We have two public, all these meetings are public, by the way. We have two work sessions on the budget in May and along with public hearings. So I don't mean to minimize the words that are in front of you on the page, but we've been through these items many times before now. Happy to answer questions you may have, but we're asking tonight to adopt the resolution. And really it's the bold and the all bold, all caps portion. Resolution adopting the fiscal year 26-27 budget for the city of Williamston, appropriating the amounts necessary for municipal purposes, and providing for the levy of the amount necessary to be raised by ad valorem taxes and personal property for municipal purposes.
All right,
You
great.
can read it all if you want, but that's up to you.
Thank you, I appreciate that, and I just wanna echo what John said, we've done good work here. We have a solid budget, all of the boards that approve their budgets that roll up to this. We don't take this lightly, and that's why we meet as much as we do and hear what our city staff needs to tell us so that when we can be fiscally responsible and continue to move business forward. John did read what that resolution looks like. Would someone like to make that motion?
Do you
Yes,
want me to-
Scott.
Do we reread this?
You can, yes.
Okay, I make a motion, a resolution adopting the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget for the city of Williamston, appropriating the amounts necessary for municipal purposes and providing for the levy of the amount necessary to be raised by ad valorem taxes upon real and personal property for municipal purposes.
Thank you so much, Scott, I appreciate it, and thank you so much, Dan, for your second on that motion. Any questions? Like John said, we've been through this many times preparing for this evening. If there's no questions, yes, Jerry?
I'm just looking at the revenues here on page 12, and it says revenue sharing and PPP reimbursement. What,
Personal property tax reimbursement?
so that's an income to the city, personal property, oh, okay, so.
When we pay our property taxes.
Per personal property, I believe, is for
Personal.
businesses.
John?
who-
I'm gonna try not to go into the whole history of personal
That's
property
okay.
tax reform, but traditionally it'd be large equipment and machinery for businesses.
Yeah.
And there used to be a significant amount more of that. The rates for that were higher, but there's a phase out within tax collection in Michigan now for personal property tax.
Personal, so it's actually industrial machinery, right? Okay. That's why we called it personal, okay, oh,
In this
All
co-
businesses, I paid,
Yeah,
my business paid that.
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
traditionally, I mean, the largest, Mr. Haynes is correct, I mean, it's all businesses, but the vast majority of the revenue collected came from the larger machines like at Cencora or Beckham or places like that.
Okay. I remember talking to the guy at Old Nation and saying, how can the city help you out?
Correct.
He said personal property tax. And I thought,
Exactly.
Was he on a boat or something, or?
Right.
No, he owns a brewery.
Big brewery.
All right.
Got it, all right. Just
So
curious.
we have the motion, we have the second. Barb, will you call the roll, please?
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes,
All right, next on our action list, we have the adoption of the 2026-2027 fiscal year utility rates. Again, I'm gonna turn that over to our city manager, John Hanfield.
Thank you, this is the last part of our budget process for the upcoming fiscal year. This is the adoption, the resolution adopting the water and wastewater rates for the upcoming fiscal year. The rates presented are exactly the same as the current fiscal year. Those are, all of those charges are also included in the table, so there's no change, we're just looking for adoption.
Yep, just to reiterate what our city manager just said, for our viewing community, we are not raising our water or our sewer rates, which I think is great. I'm looking for that motion.
Make a motion.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Scott, go
yeah, I
ahead.
wanted to make a comment on the rate, we have the rate study, and it's clear that the rate study and that recommendation isn't even remotely connected to what we're doing. So my question was, if we're so disconnected from a rate study, do we have to do a rate study, or can we just do it on our own?
That's a great question. The short answer, we have all of that raw data now that's been produced by the consultant we use and the formatting. And so we annually, internally do our own rate models. I mean, we know, and that's why we're able to, when we have our work session, to talk intelligently to, hey, we don't have to raise rates per that schedule because we know we added the equivalent of like 10%, like in wastewater, for example, we talked about at the last meeting. That in lieu of, because of growth in the system, we added a 10% just in connection fees, and then we'll over time, if we, for water and wastewater, we'll add about 2 or 3% each in the coming fiscal year. And plus, we talked at the work sessions about changing how some of our wage allocations are. We do have some big projects on the horizon, we talked about that, but we'll have work sessions on that leading in the next fiscal year to prepare, adequately prepare for that.
All right, who would like to make that motion?
I'll do it.
All right, thank you.
Make a motion to adopt a resolution approving the water and wastewater rates for fiscal year 2026-27, effective on July 1, 2026.
Thank you so much. Do I have support?
Second.
All right, thank you both. If there's no other discussion, Barb, will you call the roll, please?
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes,
Rhines,
Yes.
All right. Now, on our action items, we actually have some appointments and reappointments for several of our boards. Our first is the appointment of council representative for economic development, corporate, TIFA 2A, 2B, and zoning board of appeals and alternate. Because we have lost Councilman Jenkins, we do have to fill this seat. And I do have a question for city attorney. Can I be the representative as mayor or no?
I'm not aware of any impediment to
Okay.
that.
Because I know that everyone has their boards that they sit on. I have no problem taking on that until we end up with a new council member. EDC Tifa, they don't meet as often, but I would take on that responsibility if you'd like me to.
Sure.
So if somebody wants to make a motion,
Make a motion to appoint Tammy Gilroy to the EDC
Second.
and Tifa 2A2B.
and Tifa 2A2B.
All
We
right.
need a term.
Do we need a term or is it just until we, yes, John?
All of your terms are annual,
Yeah,
so it
yeah,
would be.
yeah,
and
that's
then-
right, so,
And so when the next person comes on, you could also amend it to
Yeah.
also step down with that.
okay, all right.
Is it Tammy or is it Tamitha?
Tammy,
Tammy.
with a Y,
Okay,
not
just
an
wanna
I.
make sure.
Thank you for that, and I think we had support. Bart, will you call the roll, please?
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes,
Can we vote a name change for the mayor?
no. And there's no vote on that.
But it's unanimous.
Right. I appreciate that, and I will do my best to serve that board well. That's actually the board that I started out on.
I kept not getting this.
All right, bringing us back around, we have a reappointment for Earl Wolf to the Parks and Recreation Commission. I'm sorry, what?
Could you do ZBA alternate?
Oh, ZB, oh, that's right, ZBA alternate. Oh, they never meet, I'll nominate myself.
Well, you can do that, I don't see any ZBA, and again, it's the alternate position.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do
you
we
can
need
take
it?
action if you like, but
Yeah. If Dan's not gonna be there on it,
I usually make a point to be it.
yeah, you do.
When ZBA meets, there's usually a pretty good
Like
reason.
once a year, right?
I
Okay,
like the Olympics.
yeah, all right. Well, at this time, I don't see a need for us to fill that alternate, so we won't worry about that. Unless you get really sick, and then we'll have to come up with an idea. Alrighty, so reappointment of Earl Wolf to the Parks and Recreation Commission for a term to expire 6/30/2029. We have his application in the packet. Earl has been long-standing on this committee, and I have no problem with him, being reappointed, so I'd be looking for that motion.
So moved to Earl.
Alright, thank you. Do you have support? All of you, thank you. Barb, will you call the roll, please?
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
All right. We have reappointment of Noah Bellinger to the Planning Commission for a term to expire 6/30/29. He's doing a good job on Planning Commission. I was happy to see his application for reappointment in the packet. I'm looking for that motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you both. Barb, will you call the roll?
Haynes,
Yes.
Van Osberg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
All right. Now we have in our packet a memo from our city manager, Sean Hannafin, regarding wastewater treatment plant administration building roof replacement. John?
Yeah, during the severe winter that we had, there was some ice dam caused some damage to the roof. We did file a claim with the Michigan Municipal League, and they did come out and assess it, and that begat us getting quotes for the roof. We are recommending that we go with KWR Home Services. They are a local company for their bid price of not to exceed $42,000. We have already received a reimbursement claim from MML for $31,000.
Excellent.
And upon the completion of the project, they'll come out and verify it, and then we will get the remainder for the cost of the roof.
All right.
Happy to answer any questions you may have. I thought Mr. David did a good job of summarizing it very briefly, but essentially what happened, there was an ice dam, and those are all flat roofs, and there was an ice dam, and it backed up and then caused the damage that was there.
All right, great, thank you very much, and please let him know I appreciate the thoroughness of his memorandum in here for us. It was very sufficient. I'm looking for that motion, requested action.
Yeah, make a motion to contract with KWR Home Services, Riddle, for their quoted price of $42,000 for roof replacement at the wastewater treatment plant administration building.
Thank you so much, do I have support? Thank you. If there's no other questions or discussion, Barb, will you call the roll, please?
Van Allsburg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. We're on our last action item, and that is our staffing plan for our city treasurer. I'm gonna turn this back over to our city manager, John Hannaford.
Thank you. Approximately 4 years ago, we were in the same position with the need to fill a treasury vacancy. The primary activities at this time is closing out the current fiscal year, a lot of preparation for 25-26 fiscal year, and then our ongoing weekly and monthly accounting tasks. We did engage Plant Moran the last time around when this happened. I recommended we do that again. They did an excellent job for us. They're familiar with our account system. And we also did get a updated pricing schedule for them. And I can imagine leading through that, you probably all had sticker shock. You saw that the partner rate is $400. We would never engage the partner to do anything. They just have to include it in their schedule of service. Just to give you context, the last time in 2022, we engaged them. They started in the month of May, and they were really substantially started working in June, and we had them for about 6 months, and we spent a little under $35,000 over those 6 months. To provide context, the treasurer position with full benefits, salary, retirement, et cetera, is about $11,000, so it's actually, even at the contracted rate, which will give us, what we need to close the year out and move through this transition. So we're asking that we engage Plant Moran for that work. Also, we want to advertise, obviously, immediately for the treasurer's position. Should be relatively easy to do because we have all the materials from last time. And finally, there is an increase in salary for the deputy treasurer for additional work for $200 a week until the treasurer position is filled. So, virtually exact same thing that we did the last time.
So, for advertising, we'll post this on MML,
Yep.
and then what other mechanisms would you use for advertising for that?
So typically, you advertise MML, it's sort of a landing point for, but also through the Michigan Government Finance Officers Association, this is MGFOA, that on the first take, surprisingly. So we'll advertise through that.
Okay.
Mr. Mead's been great about, sharing the word with folks.
Okay.
As you know, Rachel Piner, who's our awesome treasurer, is the deputy treasurer for Franklin County. She's also agreed to help with spreading the word.
Excellent, great, all right. So we do have those 3 recommended motions at the bottom of this memo from our city manager. I'm
Should
looking.
those be separate
Yes,
motions?
yes.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm looking for that first motion.
Okay. Make a motion to contract with Plant Moran for treasury services for up to 32 hours per month for a period from June 15, 2026 to September 15, 2026, with the possibility of an extension of 3 months, letter of engagement attached.
Thank you so much, do I have support?
Second.
Thank you. Barb, will you call the roll, please?
Van Allsburg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes.
Yes.
All right, I'm looking for that second motion.
I would make a motion to advertise immediately for the treasurer's position.
Thank you, do I have support?
Second.
Thank you both. Barb, will you call the roll, please?
Ludwig,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Van Allsburg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy.
Yes. And I'm looking for that third motion.
Move to increase the salary for the deputy treasurer by $200 per week for additional duties until the treasurer position is filled.
Thank you so much, do I have support? Thank you. Barb, will you call the roll, please?
Hanson,
Yes.
Haynes,
Yes.
Van Allsburg,
Yes.
Rhines,
Yes.
Gilroy,
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
All right, that concludes our action items for this evening. Moving down our agenda, we have our discussion items for our main 4 safety improvements. John, do we have any updates from MDOT?
We do. We have a rough time frame. That project will be, the project schedule for all projects for signals in the county will be, or in the area, will be roughly April 2027 to September 2027. And when bidding is complete and the scope review is done with the contractor, we should have a better idea when ours specifically will be done, but we know it will not be, at the earliest would be April 2027.
Okay, all right. Well, that gives us something to put on the wall and look forward to, so approximately a year out from now. before we have anything happen at our main forum. Alrighty, any questions about that? I mean, we talk about this each council meeting. We always have Spicer here to give us those updates when they have them from MDOT, so I think we'll just keep,
Yep.
we'll just wait till we hear something else. Alright, down the agenda, we've got our correspondence, received information only. We do not have anything, so we'll jump right into department head reports, and we'll go back to our city manager, John Hannafin.
Yeah, probably the biggest news is we did, Kelly Jones is here from Spicer, she's back there behind Mr. Lucy. We did have our scope review with Reeve Riley, who council did approve contracting with them for our projects this summer. They're looking at a Monday, July 13th start date for both projects. That's Mill and Railroad and then Industrial Park Drive and Progress Court. The projects are gonna run simultaneously. So we will be delivering flyers to all the residents on the route as well as the businesses and even some that are adjacent to it because that's gonna be a change. Obviously, we'll post a flyer on our social media and on our city website. And so
What was the start date again?
July 13th, and that is a Monday.
This July?
Yes.
Okay.
And what do we anticipate the length of work? If we
Yeah.
start July 13th, we know we have to plan for some incumbent weather
Sure.
that could possibly delay, but what do we anticipate an end date?
They're in their contract, there are liquidated damages if the project goes, the substantial part of the project, which is the grading, the paving, beyond August 7th. So we expect this to be a 3, possibly 4-week project, allowing for bad weather. Mill and Railroad are only complicated in the sense of the sidewalks, they don't pose a challenge, it's just there's some individual care that will have to be taken with the residents. Because if you go out there, there's sidewalk that's pretty good to the north, and then it's like the remnant, it's like an evolution or de-evolution of sidewalks as you go. And there's old, curves around where trees used to be, so that'll be the part that will be, it's not complex, but it's the only thing that's a little different.
Okay.
But that's grading, and paving, which will be very brief, and then progress in industrial, that's milling out and filling in,
Okay,
milling out and filling in.
gotcha.
And traffic we'll do our very best to maintain traffic throughout. I mean, there will be times when we're doing driveway approaches and things like that,
Sure.
folks may be inconvenienced for a time. But it'll be a lot more similar to High Street and Mullet than North Putnam. There's virtually no underground.
Alright. Anything else?
Did I get that right? Yeah, okay, good, thank you.
Alright, what else you got for us?
I just want to remind folks that the summer concerts, there was one a couple weeks ago, but they start up this Thursday, 7 p.m. So I get to update our message board sign on that,
Okay.
so it's pretty cool to be able to follow that along. So it's pretty exciting, and that's all I have.
What
I know
is-
there's lots of committee reports.
7 p.m. start time for those concerts. What's
Correct.
the typical end time? What do they run, 2 hours?
8:30-ish,
8:30,
9,
okay, alright. Alright, and then we've got Chief Weiss, thank you so much for being here. We've got your memo in the packet as well, but what's going on with the department?
Well, good evening. The police reports included with the stats for the month. We attended, for the staff members, 3 of the staff members and myself attended the Area 8 Special Olympics event at MSU.
Nice.
We actually set up and proctored the bocce ball area, and it was an awesome day. We had a great time, as well as the athletes. All the staff attended legal update training, staff has attended school sporting events, and Jubilee planning's in full swing to ensure a safe week of Jubilee.
Excellent, great. Had I known you guys were there at the bocce ball court, because I could see you from my
Yes.
office at the stadium, I should have come down and said hi. And then you're also, want to give us an update on National Night Out? Is it too
Yeah,
early,
no,
too soon?
National Night Out, so full steam ahead. We have some good surprises this week. It's Tuesday, August 4th from 4 to 8 p.m. at McCormick Park. It will include virtually everything that was there last year, and as well as a couple extra surprises this year. So.
All right, excellent. Well, keep us up to date on that. We appreciate it. And
What are the dates for National Night Out?
it's August 4th.
Yep, Tuesday,
It's
August
always
4th.
It's always the first Tuesday of August,
First
always.
Tuesday, got it.
And that's for across the United States,
It
right?
is,
It's a
yes.
national program.
Yep.
So National Night Out. Every municipality that has a police department they participate.
However, ours is the best in the country. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. End of school happened last week.
It did?
So, no more crossing guards for the summer. So you guys are just kind of, you know, what are you doing now? You guys on
a lot.
vacation too? No, I just want to say, Jeff, we appreciate everything that the police department does. We know that traffic shift is going to happen, you know, at some point for our residents over on Riverside. But thank you so much for, you know, before school, after school, helping monitor that traffic flow and getting the crossing guards out there for our student safety as well.
Thank you.
All right. Moving down our agenda, committee, subcommittee reports. Anyone want to share on anything that they've had? Yes, Scott.
I did attend a meeting with the cemetery board.
Okay.
There's some issues going on with the superintendent. A little bit of a conflict between what his desires pertaining to a green area and what our perspective is that needs to be worked out, but nothing that earth-shattering.
Okay.
They didn't go for some of the stuff that we had proposed, the wall we wanted.
Okay.
So anyway, gotta be worked out, but
All right. Anyone else? Yes? Oh, whoops. Oh, no, it's okay. All right. We'll do first and then
Didn't
we'll go to
happen
Tim.
last week, what's gonna happen this week is NISA, according to their agenda, that came out yesterday, I think it was, they're gonna take seriously this idea of recording their meetings, which would be a great idea. So I'm gonna talk to you afterwards and get a card, because I think you would be the perfect way to do it. We'll see how that works out.
All right. Excellent. Tim?
wow, that's excellent.
I know.
That'd be good.
It provides transparency. I think there's nothing wrong with that and nobody should ever be scared of that. All right, Tim?
Well, we did have planning commission.
Yes.
And so we addressed some concerns of citizens. We took a look at the Riverwalk final plan, and we passed that with a condition on the language. We had to fix a couple of numbers on that, from 56 to 53, I believe.
Yes, John?
Yeah, they submitted an amended site plan for the landscape area, and so there was 36 trees that were removed in the course of construction, and so they're by ordinance, they're required to put back an equal number, and so they're proposing to put back 56.
Okay. All right, excellent. All right.
That was approved by the
Excellent.
So then we also approved the final language on the data center ordinance.
Okay.
And if they will come in July, we'll present it to the council.
Planning Commission's gonna review take one more month to review the final.
Okay.
It's pretty much done, and I'll share that with council, in my report at the end of this week, and you'll have it.
Okay.
With the idea that it will come to council for adoption either at the July 13th meeting or I guess it'd be the 27th, the second meeting.
Okay, excellent. All right. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, all right. We have another opportunity for audience participation with a maximum of 5 minutes per presentation. Does anybody want to come forward again? No, all right. Moving down, we've got our council member comments. I will start with Scott.
Yeah, so trees are on my mind with Jack being here. So the first thing is that the trees that the gas company planted on Middle Street, there's a lot of them that have grown significantly, really quicker than I thought they would. And it's really quite wonderful. And it leaves me wanting to get aggressive about seeing trees go into the city strips so there isn't one. That also leads to the question of what makes the most sense to go in those areas. You know, things come to mind like, do we want trees that grow fast but they get big and get onto the wires? Or do we want trees that grow fast but stay small? Or, you know what I mean? There's questions that I have in my mind.
Sure.
Jack probably has opinions on it that, you know, I'll share at some point. But anyway, the trees are on my brain. So.
All right, well, good. Well, when we have it as a discussion item, I'm gonna let you take the lead.
Okay.
Appreciate it, Dan.
We had ordinances and enforcement things come up in public comment earlier. We've discussed that quite a bit at council in the last few years, a few different meetings on it. There's a lot of different things with this, like certain things probably need to be addressed with certain ordinances, like late night parties and different things like that, or probably need to be calls to the police. Other things, calls to City Hall, and they can dive into the specific ordinance and tell them we've already got an ordinance addressing that, and this is how we're going to address it. Or we don't have that covered, and we'll have to figure out what we do with that. But a lot of that, it's not fun, I've had to do it, I don't enjoy it, but it's a phone call to the correct entity to see those things addressed.
All right, thank you. Tim?
Yeah, shout out to Dr. Spina, you know, the few years that I've been able to sit and listen to him talk and the improvements in what he's done in the school system and the things that are now coming around, I always find very impressive. And with the library, I thought the library did was really cool, some information on that and how much Williamston was in the library.
Absolutely. All right. Terry?
The Ice House. I stopped in a couple of weeks ago. There was a guy, he had a trailer out there, he was working on the Ice House. I've been here for 8 years, and every year the Ice House, it just gets a little more decrepit, you know? And it's really good to see. The foundation apparently is back to normal. There were some questions as to whether it might have been damaged. Foundation is back to normal. The stairs on the inside have been replaced. It's really cool to see that happen. So, just like to say that.
Thank you.
No comment.
All right. So once again, I got to use the big scissors this past Saturday, Saturday morning. We have a home cottage business over on McCulley Street, 646 Bakery. What was really special and really neat about this, and I've done about 5 different ribbon cuttings over the past 45 days, and not only is it great to see businesses in our downtown area that are doing ribbon cuttings, but this was very special. This is a sophomore going to be a junior teenager that wanted to earn money this summer. She sold out within 20 minutes of being open, and it was probably some of the best Chex Mix I've had, Rice Krispie treat, chocolate chip cookies. She had everything bagels. She had banana nut muffins. Her name is Reggie Cook. She has social media out there. She'll post when she's going to be open.
Does she do sourdough?
You'll have to ask her on your own. I'm not quite sure. But there is somebody else in town that's doing sourdough, and I've seen it on social media, so I'll let you know. But it was just so neat to be able to do a ribbon cutting for a teenager that has ambitions. And just not to throw it out there, but she had the most people at a ribbon cutting in 45 days that I've ever seen. And she had neighborhood support. She had people coming in, parking on the street, obviously not neighbors. And so it was really neat. It was quite enjoyable to do that and to help celebrate the success of a teenager here in Williamston. We've got Jubilee coming up in a couple weeks, and we know that is one of the big highlights of our community. So for our viewing audience out there, we'll have a lot of people coming into Williamston that don't necessarily live here, want to visit here. Let's all be our best community stewards and invite them in, welcome them in. Let them enjoy the events that we host here, again with our band shell in the park. It's not just Williamston residents that come and listen to these bands, it's visitors coming into our communities, and we have so much here to offer. We've got Dog Days of Summer coming up in August, as well as National Night Out. We've got So Long to Summer Patio Fest throughout the community, which I will share more on as that event develops. We've got our October events, we've got rolling into December events. So we've got events coming up almost every single month, but that's what makes our community really neat and special. So I look forward to everything that's going to be happening over the summer. And I don't want to say summer's going to go by quick, but we've got a lot going on here, so buckle up. It's going to be a good summer in Williamston. Thank you again to all of our staff that has worked so hard for this fiscal year, and we do have one more meeting in June, but our fiscal year is drawing to a close. Tom, I want to say thank you so much for serving in the capacity as treasurer of our city. We are better because of it. The staff that work with you, we are better because of it. I'm very sad to see you go, but I'm very excited for you for that next chapter. And don't be a stranger. Come back and say hi.
Absolutely. Thank you.
But it's that next step in growth in our city staff that we will meet and greet, and we'll bring in an equally well and seasoned treasurer to fill that gap for us. But we've got, again, just a great city staff that's going to get us through that gap, that transition. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate all of you as we continue to keep doing our work for Williamston. So with that, I will go ahead and, yep, Fitbit says, we will go ahead and adjourn at 7:14.
So, again,